E for MarketWizards.com and eminywizard.com. It is about 9:45 on Tuesday, the 20th of August, 2019. Mining traders use risk capital you can afford to lose. We think this is a good spot to make sure you are paid if you are in. For those traders who are, like me, conservative at the open, figuring would get a shot with a little bit higher bounce. Once it starts to go and it breaks, and we said we're testing for support, once we break the overnight low and break that 16 from yesterday, it triggers the downside. So if you're an aggressive trader, you may have got that with a trailer, but more than likely you didn't. And as such, if you want to play it, the only way to do it is jump into the waterfall and hope that you get those 10 to 12 targets we had talked about. And then obviously, we had mentioned this 775 as the next area that we wanted to make sure we were paid. Oh wait, 775. So I'm again saying anybody that's taking any portion of this, paid for sure. The half gap back here is like at 21 and a quarter. A lot of time left in the day. And if you're looking at the 15-minute chart, rain line has been hit. That's the first time in 3 days. Doesn't have to stop right there, but I like the idea of making sure we're paid there. And this funnel right here, this is the relationship that I look for right there when we open below the green and red and blue lines. So I'm again suggesting to traders, remember that first smoke 'em bar up here overnight yesterday? That top of that bar is just below us, right in here. Actually, it's right there. So this is a retest of that high. And before we get lower and start to test the middle or below it and close gaps and stuff, you got to get by that. So keep that in mind. That's where we are right now. And I'm trying to put this into a 2-day perspective. I said still neutral. We're not bearish because we're above this, but we are starting to roll over. And we'd mentioned the 30-minute chart is also an important idea. And so here we can see the same thing, that we are down in this neck of the woods. And back here at the 29 area, key idea basis this chart. So all I can tell you is if you have had a good trade south side, make sure you're paid coming into this line right here. You can just see how this was so important as a breakout. Chop, 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 squeeze. So this is the first time that we are back here since that move overnight. I like this move, actually. I like it's better balanced than just close your eyes and buy, buy, buy. We'll talk about that too today. So I said yesterday that we're going to use 32 to 35 resistance. That is held for now. And I thought that would take time today to get down in test 10s and 12s. We're here already. That's very surprising to me. But you have to react in this business and get what you can. Now, on a weekly look, we had said that this would be the next target zone. First was here, trying to get to the 12s, and then if we bust that, we open the door to the next level. And this 7.5 is the bottom of the pipe, 60 back. And that's one of the reasons I'm suggesting make sure you're paid for sure. So there's a 456 trade. 4, 5, 6. And we never know how far a trade will run. Nobody does. But we do know that there are certain ideas that pop up all the time. Right now, we know that there are traders that are trapped that thought they had a winner yesterday and they're underwater, and now it's the long's turn to pay up. Anything that we get below 7.5, good fortune. Hey, Zeke, good morning. Didn't know we'd see you today. I know you had a nice closing yesterday, so I figured you're out celebrating. Now, all this is happening fast. So when we do find support, then we can get a pretty good bounce back. Let's take a look at 5 RTH. This is an important idea right here. And I've got the 2900 as the rain line. This is a very smart move by the market. Got this island gap. We had said under 08, make sure paid by the 5. We do not have an angel yet. We just have a neighborhood. We'd said paid for sure. At 7.5, 775. When we open up, not always, but usually when we open up underneath that blue and green and red line, I like to have the range trade resolved like that, with a rain line below us and these lines up here as part of the trade ideas. So I think we surprised a few longs at the open, but when you open underneath all of these lines, then it tells you normally that you cannot consider the long side as viable for anything more than a scalp till you get above that blue line again. And normally I like the first half hour for the gap trade, half gap trade. But I believe today, I have no idea about news, but I just believe that we came so far. Remember we said we'd gone 117 points. So in a swing basis, I have no problem with a pullback. Just a common sense idea. So this is the box that we are now trading in. And this is a regression trade, obviously. I've got 1.25 in a 3-day swing. So let's keep that in mind. This would be a 40 back in this range. So double top, and this is a pullback here. And obviously, if you want to go from this swing, then it will be more. But I'm using this first. Just using the idea of this last swing. I was not thinking this was going to be an all-day sell. So on a swing basis, if you'll note, remember I said this 375, make sure you're paid in here. Careful about this area. So on a multi-day swing, we can do that for 2 days. We can do it for 3 or 4 or whatever. But on this basis, from this swing, we're back about 25% here at this 375. So that's one of the reasons I want to make sure anybody that's in this box think about that area. And now we can look at that 18 and put that into perspective. So basis a swing trade idea. Anybody that took this and rah rah rah, and now we're up 36 points and whatever overnight, all that nonsense. This is one of the reasons you don't get too excited about the overnight moves, because eventually they get retraced. And if you play your cards right, you get a portion of those swings. So these traders, all who jumped in yesterday, RTH, basically were weak hands and have been taken out, right? So now the retest is back up here to that 16 to 18 zone, and that's got to hold for the shorts. So this is pretty nice a shakeout of all of the traders who were yesterday figuring that they had the targets up there. We know where they are, the 40s and 45s and all that. And we said, let's use 32 to 35 resistance. Hopefully we'll get a regression trade. And you can see we're not quite there, but we're close. And this rain line over and over will be very helpful as we apply it to different charts. We're using O2 as our support target, meaning anybody wants to buy, you're using that O2 as your support, and you're trying to come back in a regression trade to the overnight trade. And to see that proportion, you got to go back here. So at 15, 1475, if the low holds, and that's the next resistance. And this line I've got right here is an important line now because that was supportive. So that's got the shorts need to hold this 15 to 18 now to control the day.